Welcome to 15 Minutes with Merrill Moss Media Production. Today we're talking with Marc Demetriou. And Marc is a top-rated speaker. He's appeared at the Mastermind Summit along with world-renowned motivational speaker Tony Robbins and Barbara Corcoran from the ABC television show Shark Tank. Marc has been quoted in articles in the New York Times, Huffington Post, which I actually just read that article this morning, Reuters, the Associated Press, and so many other local and national publications and media outlets. And Marc is also he's a mortgage specialist, very well known and very popular. And he was listed by the MPA as one of the Hot 100 for 2017, which I also just found out this morning when I read the Huffington Post article. And we're so happy to have him. And Marc has a book out. It is called Lessons from My Grandfather, Wisdom for Success in Business and Life. The fascinating story about your grandfather is that he was 16 when he left home to come to America by himself. It was the first time he'd ever been that far away from his home, and he ended up just working really hard and building this life for himself. And at 60, retired a millionaire, and lived 37 years after that to just enjoy it. And he instilled in your father, these principles for being successful, not just in business, but as human beings. So tell me a little bit about your grandfather, Charlie.
So my grandfather, who was basically 16 years old, and just really quick story, is that he was basically in school to go into his junior year of high school because he wanted to be a pharmacist, because there was one pharmacist in his general vicinity, there's no cars back then, that made money, and he wanted to be a pharmacist. So he was in school. Real quick story, my great-grandfather basically pulled him out of school, said, we can't afford to send 10 cents a week anymore for you to go to school. You got to help with the horses, because basically he was a horse and buggy taxi guy for the island of Cyprus. So he'd be gone for a week at a time, and he said, you got to help your mom with your sister and brother when I'm not here, feed the horses, take care of the horses. It's time to get involved in that, and I need you here. So after a little while doing that, he realized it wasn't for him. He wasn't going to get his way out of this, poorness, this poverty. And wanted to be something bigger than where he was. So he basically, in the middle of the night, worked out with a merchant to go on a ship and feed the animals to get a ride to Greece for 2 weeks. Get a ride to Greece. It takes 2 weeks to get there. So his father found out he was leaving because it's a small island, and he actually rowed out to the boat and said, I understand why you're leaving. You have my blessings. Here's a couple of coins for your trip, and wish you well. And that was basically it. So he went off and, just ventured out. Went to Greece for 2 years. Worked for a lawyer there. He got a job. Went to London for 2 years. Became a telegraph operator to save up enough money to come to America in 1929, when he was 20 years old, and it all began from there.
Yeah, and the entire story really was interesting to me because my grandparents, my grandfather especially, left islands off the coast of South Carolina to come to Connecticut, and so just hearing that story and just the affection that you have for your grandfather, and it really gave me a happy feeling and made me start remembering some things about lessons my grandfather taught me. And he died when I was 12, so it's been a long time. But you had your grandfather for all these years, and he wasn't just successful in business, but you talk about how he was such a successful and humble person. So tell us a little bit, give us a few stories or a little, anecdote about your grandfather and how, even though he was a successful businessman, his humility as a person came through, because that comes through in your book.
Right. I mean, you think about it. It always struck me how amazing it was that at 16 years old he left, like I said, and came here to America for an opportunity. At 20 years old, 3 weeks after the stock market crashed and the start of the worst depression ever, by the way.
Right.
So to me, it was so magnificent in his own way. And when he got here, from 20 till 60, retired a millionaire at 60, but everything in between that, he got ahead in life because who he was. Who he was as a person is why he got ahead in life. He started shining shoes, and then a busboy, and then a waiter, and then another waiter, and then a manager of a restaurant, a manager. So he got ahead in life because people liked him. He was a good person. He worked hard. He was humble. He was always trying to help others. He always was positive. 5'2" little, happy guy. So he was just all about life and the magnetic force of that coming to him and all around him. People wanted to be with him all the time and help him. So you think about that as an individual, and this, to aspire to be like that or know that that's how he got ahead in life. It's very simple stuff.
Right.
So the power of that is really, truly what made me want to write the book, because years after he passed, and he retired when he was 60 when I was born. So
Okay.
not the reason, it just happened that way.
Right.
So for 37 years, I had this best friend, mentor, grandfather in my life. And I didn't realize till years later, even after he passed, what a mentor he was, because he just was who he was. So to tell you some things, so some of the things that some of the lessons in my book, and there's so many quotes throughout my book other than the 15 lessons, but just to magnify some things, like he would say, attitude is everything. He would always tell me, your attitude in life, how you are, how people perceive you, how you take on life. It's all about how you are, how you act, how you feel. So when you get up in the morning until the time you go to bed, people around you, your attitude about everything you do, whatever you're doing, just have with a great attitude, a positive attitude, and forge forward in life. Things are going to happen in life, setbacks, disappointments, tragedies, but it's how you handle them and get through them. Yes, there'll be times there'll be disappointment and you'll have to, regroup and get through things, but you got to keep forging forward and just kind of maybe realize life is hard, life is hard. So that was kind of a lot of it,
Yeah.
But there's just so many other things, remaining humble always. You can learn from others. Don't think you know everything. If someone's telling you a story, let them finish if you know the ending, because you can learn from them. Help others always, always about you. And by the way, he sent money back to his family all the years of their lives when he was working here. Always, no matter when he had $10 in his pocket or thousands of dollars, he always sent money back all the time to his family, all the years he was here.
Wow. So you mentioned just now that in your book you talk about 15 principles specifically that your grandfather taught you. And I want to just go through some of those and ask you how you apply them to your life and your business on a daily basis. So one of the first things you said was attitude is everything. So how do you apply that to your business and to your life?
So, and that's a great question. So I try to be upbeat and positive no matter what I'm doing. And back to my grandfather too, he always said too, no matter what job he had, he had honor in that job, because it was an opportunity to make money for a stepping stone, whether it was shiny shoes or being a busboy, being a waiter. He loved it all. He loved the opportunity. He loved to know that this is advancement. It's not stuck here. He knew he was going to get past it. So for me, I take on life. Everything I do, I try to do, to the best of my ability, be the best person that I can. I love constructive criticism to make me a better person, better friend, better son, better, whatever it is, father. So, it's all about being the best you can be. We're on this earth one time as we know it. So making the best of it with everything you do and being positive and, helping other people and giving when you can, whether your time or money. So it's all encompassing. So success in life, this is why I wrote it. It's not about just making money. It's about having a successful life, your family, your friends, your kids, your surroundings, people around you, bringing them up with you, helping people that you can. So attitude's a big word, and it's how you take on life from the minute you get up to the minute you go to bed. So from being healthy and being fit and being positive and reading and learning more. So there's a lot to do with that. So attitude's a very powerful word. We can go on for an hour about that by itself.
There's this other one, be awake and alive to the suffering of others.
Absolutely, because you know what? This is one world we're on, and there's one country we're in as far as where we are. And, people around you, there's always people that are less fortunate than everybody. And he always knew that too. No matter what he had or didn't have, there's always people less fortunate than he was. And that if he had $2 in his pocket, there's people that are homeless. You know what I'm saying? So at least he had a place to sleep. And by the way, when he was here, he was with 6 other people, in one apartment that they took the bed one night a week, and he slept on the floor of the 6. So I think about starting out from hardship. But so he always understood that. So he was the kind of guy, all the years that I knew him, like the bus boy, the person pouring the water at a restaurant, he'd slip $1 to them. I'd watch him do that. Like everywhere he went, like $1 to the maitre d', like just, $1 here or there was nothing. But like that, just giving back. And he would donate and he would give charity to some charities at times. And so he just always felt like just giving back and helping others, because there's always people less fortunate.
Do you think that's a generational thing?
Absolutely, because the people that came to America, through Ellis Island, that large, immigration, immigrants, all the immigrants that came during those times, the migration, I should say, it's powerful because they came for opportunity. They came without. They left their families. They left everything they knew. They come here for an opportunity, so they know what it was like to be without. So that generation was just good givers and and they worked hard, and they appreciated everything. So it's powerful, and I actually wrote this book for that reason as well, to kind of make everyone remember, like, these people, they created America. You know,
Hmm.
this is the backbone, and I think we forget that right now. We
Yeah,
forget a lot of that.
and what you said too is like, your grandfather never forgot the time when he was the busboy, and then now he wasn't, but he could give back and reach
Right,
back, and that was just, that really stuck with me, because when you were talking about how he would just like slip the money to people, on the
right,
slide, I remember watching my grandmother do that. And
right.
my grandmother
Beautiful.
was always that kind of person. Like, even if she only had a quarter, she'd like stick it in your pocket
Yeah,
and just say
beautiful.
nothing about it. So it really is beautiful. And then there's this other principle your father focused on. There are no limits in your grandfather, pardon me. There are no limits and no ends. And I love that.
Yeah, it's powerful. You know, you think about dreaming and having plans and having desires. There's no end to that. You know, you will think that my grandfather, you would think that he was a disadvantaged individual because he
Right.
left with nothing,
Right.
right? He was more advantaged than you could possibly imagine because in his mind, his dreams and his passion to get ahead in life and forge forward, and that drive and passion and the desire to achieve that, that's powerful beyond
Right.
measures. So there are no ends to where you want to be. Where do you want to be in life? You want, and you know, I was fortunate to have good parents too as mentors. But do you want to be a president of the United States? Then go be a president of the United States. You want to be the top executive of the country? You want to be the best lawyer in the country? You know, what do you want to achieve in life?
Mm-hmm.
Just go after it and don't stop till you get there. You know, and you know, just go around and go through and get over it, get it done. So he was always about that. But I'll tell you something very powerful too is, you know, with about the money before we talked about, he looked me in the eyes when he said this most profound statement when I talked to him one day about, you know, why do you live so modestly now? You know, a modest place here in New Jersey, a modest place in Florida, very modest. You don't travel that much. You know, you have a lot of money saved up. And he looked me so straight in the face and said, when you've been without, like I was, you never want to be without again. You
Mm-hmm.
never want to be without again. So having money in the bank and having a cushion and having reserves, I'd rather know that money's there than have to spend it. Because
Yeah.
when you're without and you're struggling like that, you don't know that hardship that it is. And to be without is something you never wanted again. So, you know, it's kind of powerful in its own right.
Yeah, and that is something that you definitely see in people of that generation. That, even if they had money saved, they lived very normally,
Right.
and on a very small scale, because they knew what it was like to not know where your next meal is coming from, and
Right.
never wanting to feel that.
Right. I'll tell you two things also very powerful for just, again, this is for everyone to learn.
Mm-hmm.
I respect the dollar. You know, I'm not cheap. I'm not, you know, a miser. I'm frugal how I spend money. I like vacation. I like nice things like we all do. That's
Yeah.
fine. But I respect the dollar. I respect the dollar that people earn. It takes time to earn and make money. I respect the dollar and I value the dollar. So there's something to be said about that, you know, for understanding, you know, money and respecting money. But the biggest thing is, he told me too, is to live below your means. If you live below your
Right.
means, you will always be stress-free and comfortable, because if you make X amount of money and you're spending X amount of money, well, that's a shame. But if
Right.
you're spending X and you're making X and you spend Z, then you're always living below your means, and that's how you live stress-free and you beat the rat race. He was always about that. Just beat the system. Make
Mm-hmm.
money, but live below your means. Live a comfortable life. But then you have money put away and you're not struggling, because to make money, make a lot of money and still have
Right.
stress, well, that's just a shame.
Yeah.
That's just a shame, you know, because again, money doesn't bring happiness, but money brings the opportunity to not be as unhappy with
Right.
bills and stress, but how you spend it. So if you're spending all your money, then you really could be unhappy. But if you make money and live below your means, then money can allow you to have less stress in life by being able to pay your bills
Yes.
and enjoying life.
Yeah, and one last one that I want to focus on is something that I think people totally forget, especially because they're always working so hard for survival. It's be joyful.
Yes, he loved. Can I tell you,
Mm-hmm.
how many times when we would eat dinner wherever we were, mostly with family, not as much at restaurants because that was just restaurant food, let's say,
Mm-hmm.
but it was literally out of his mouth, this was the best meal I ever had. And I would tell you that every single time, wherever we were at family gatherings, holidays, if it was a family-made meal, any of our houses, it's the best meal I ever had. You know, we'd have happy hour at his house every night at 6 o'clock for blue cheese and crackers and olives and a little scotch and water he had. Like, he just loved life. He loved people. He was a maitre d' by life. So he enjoyed everything about life. He'd walk 2 miles in the morning. He'd do his exercise in the morning. He'd read 3 papers a day. He took his nap in the afternoon. Like, that was when he was retired. But even when he wasn't retired, he enjoyed his life. He enjoyed working. He enjoyed people. Like, he just got joy out of life, you know, because he saw hardship. He saw struggles. He was in World War II. At one point, he was involved in that. He saw, you know, prisoners, and he saw people die. I mean, so, you know, he's been through a lot, you know, to
Yeah.
enjoy life and everything it has to allow us. this is all we got right now. Every day you wake up and what you're doing. If you're not happy where you are, then change it. You
Right.
have the opportunity. But listen, it's hard work, sacrifice, commitment, and sometimes money. And and you got to understand that. But it's if you that what you want, if you want success and you want joy with it, then you got to work towards it. But yeah, he was a very joyful guy.
What's the greatest lesson that you learned from your grandfather?
I think just being a good person, just being a good person, good to others. Being proud of who you are. And no matter someone's social status or not, whether it's the president or a billionaire or someone on the street, we're all just people. We're all just people. We all wake up in the morning, we all go to bed at night, and how everyone acts and how they are, that's up to them. But being humble and just remaining true and not worry about how much money you have or not, and don't talk about money, just enjoy life, just be a person. So people that hide behind the veils of money or insecure, it's a shame. But he really just taught me about that part of life. Just be the best you can be,
Right.
but be a good person. And by the way, do everything and be excellent at what you do. Do it right or don't do it at all is a big thing too.
Yeah. So, what's next for you with this book? I know you do some speaking engagements, and you're going to be you're a member of the Commerce and Industry Association of New Jersey, and I know they've got some events coming up. Will you be speaking there?
So I'm actually speaking at a lot of high schools right now, which is on my own time to really help the youth of America, the business students, the seniors, some juniors in there. I'm actually enjoying speaking at some high schools right now to give them an idea about how to be successful, how to get ahead in life, what it takes. It's really a good seminar I'm putting on for them. And I'm speaking at a lot of national events also throughout the country. I'm into different associations, but also different national events. So there's just different places to speak. Obviously, I'm only one person, so I have to limit where I go and how much I do it because I have a mortgage, business
Right.
here to run. But I am enjoying that part as well. So I'm being brought in as an expert speaker, whether it's about this book material or just about other things that I've taught on. I do other speaking on success-based business building and, in my industry, real estate and finance, I'm an expert speaker in that area. So I do a lot of speaking. So yes. But right now I'm doing a really national book tour, virtual on radio and some TV and magazine stuff coming up.
Oh, great.
And some book signings, but just enjoying it all. I mean, the book's been wonderfully received. There's been tremendous success with it so far. Hit bestseller in the first day, went out in some of the genres. So I'm enjoying it. And people are giving me wonderful feedback about it. So really, it's a blessing right now.
Do you think you'll write another one?
I have 2 other books in my head. I won't say what they are, but that's why I did Lessons from My Grandfather, because now there could be other things after that.
Right.
There are 2 books in my head, but we'll see how this goes. It's a lot of work, as you can imagine, But I've enjoyed this. But the reception has been phenomenal right now. The endorsements before, now all the reviews coming in have just been wonderfully received. So, getting the exposure with this book. But here, you understand, I wrote this book really to help as many people as I possibly can.
Right.
And for me, that's my mission right now. So I want to sell millions of copies. And it's not about making money. Anything I've ever done in life wasn't about making money. Money comes, no matter what you do. This was a lot of money and time and sacrifice, like anything else is. It's not about the money. I just truly wanted to give this mentor to the world. Say, here's a mentor for you that I had. I was an advantaged individual. I want to give this to the world and give this some insight and what it takes to be successful in life and what it's all about. So that's what I want right now, truly to have that be out there. And, it takes time. It's a living, breathing thing. So getting the book out into the world, it takes time. But, I'm looking for the opportunities to get it out into different venues and different places.
Excellent. So the book, again, is Lessons from My Grandfather. It is on sale now. And Marc has written an article for BookTrib. If you have not seen it, please go and see it. We will be getting if you have a book tour schedule out, we'll be getting that up on the site. And tell people where they can find you. If they're
Thank you.
So, reach
yeah. Yep, thank you. So I have a website for the book, really well put together, and there's endorsements on there, a sample chapter. It's grandfatherlessons.com is the name of the website, www.grandfatherlessons.com. A great website. It gives you purchase options for the book.
Okay.
So you can start there. There's several different places you can buy the book online, and whether it's ebook or regular hardcover, there's options on the website. So again, grandfatherlessons.com, and I have a site for myself, marcdemetriou.com, and the book site has all the events of where I'm going to be speaking and the radio stations I'm on and so on and so forth. But there'll be a lot more being updated regularly on that too as well.
Excellent. And so we'll be sure to link that to this video when people look for it on our site, and then they can also go in and see ordering information for the book, and then they can also go and see where they can come meet you, come talk to you, come hear you speak. Okay.
Right.
That's it for us at BookTrib and MerylMossMedia.com. 15 Minutes with Marc Demetriou. I enjoyed it, Marc. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. It's my pleasure and a gift to be on the trip. Thank you.